It's exactly now about a week to go for Maharashtra's polling. But what exactly is happening in the state? It's a very curious situation. About 2 weeks ago, we were traveling in Vidarbha to find out what exactly people are thinking about in this election. Because that time it appeared that the mahal, the atmosphere was leaning towards the MVA, the Congress, the NCP, Sharad Pawar, and Uddhav Thackeray's Shiv Sena. Now, over the last 2 weeks, as we've been observing and speaking to people and speaking to campaign strategists and also journalists who are on the ground, it appears that the Mahayuti has clawed its way back into the game. Anybody you talk to right now, anybody who knows Maharashtra and Maharashtra's politics is going to say the same thing. It is very tight. बहुत tight mahal hai. Which really means that nobody is in a position to decipher or even, forget about predicting. Predicting, I think, should be thrown out of the window in any case. Nobody is being able to decipher what exactly is going on in Maharashtra. Now, let's look at some main issues. What are the, for instance, what is the Mahayuti campaigning on? The Mahayuti is split into three parties, right? There is Eknath Shinde, the current CM, his party. There is which is of course the right now the original Shiv Sena. There is the BJP, of course, where Fadnavis was the CM, is now the deputy CM and is the biggest party in the state. And there is the stump NCP led by Ajit Pawar. What is Eknath Shinde's campaign pitch? Eknath Shinde's campaign pitch is very simple. He's saying, I am all for development. If you watch his interviews, if you talk to him, his people, what do they say? He said, look what I've done. I've made this road, I've made this flyover, I've got the metro, I'm getting the speed, the bullet train. His people are talking about that. They are also banking on the fact that they are offering a lot of monetary support to women, to farmers, even though there is farmer distress. But they talk about these things. What is Ajit Pawar talking about? Ajit Pawar is basically trying to defend his legacy. He's not talking about much. He's defending the. He's constantly being asked the same thing by interviewers. Why did you move? How did it benefit you moving? And what is the BJP talking about? The BJP has been talking about a very hard right Hindutva kind of katenge to batenge is what the UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath came and said. That is the kind of push that the BJP is giving, alongside, of course, development, which is their normal strategy. Now, the point is, a lot of people are saying that this kind of politics doesn't work in Maharashtra. You can't say katenge to batenge. It works in Uttar Pradesh, it works in Bihar, it works in Madhya Pradesh, it does not work in Maharashtra. But you see, there is a nuance to this whole thing. The nuance is that if it does appeal to the core BJP voter. It's not that it does not appeal to the core BJP voter. I'll make you recall what happened in 2024 in the campaign run up to the polling in the general election. There was a time in the first two phases, if I'm not mistaken, it was the first two phases, not the first three phases, where the voter turnout was very low. The reports that were coming in internally for the BJP were also not very encouraging. The sense they were getting was that their core voter is not turning up to vote. What happened after that? What happened after that was the Prime Minister went to Banswara, where he talked about Mangal Sutra and Bhains and Ghus Petiyas and all that. Now, if you see the results, if you break it up phase wise, in the initial stage, the BJP has actually lost a lot of seats. In the second, it was after all this that the core BJP voter got enthused and at least came out to vote. It evened out the voter turnout. The BJP made some gains. Maybe if they had not said that, maybe if the BJP had just stuck to what he was saying initially, where the Prime Minister wasn't talking about the Ram Mandir, he was not talking about these kind of polarizing things, maybe they would not even have reached 200, for all you know. So that might work. So it's not that it might not actually not work in Maharashtra. It might well work with the core BJP voter. So what is the MVA talking about? The MVA, the Mahavikas Aghadi, which is of course Congress and Sharad Pawar and Uddhav Thackeray. What are they talking about? They are cohesively talking about social justice through a caste census, and they're talking about corruption, and they're talking about jobs and so on and so forth. And what are they putting an envelope? The envelope they're putting around this whole thing is of Maharashtra pride. Their pitch, and especially the Congress's pitch, is that look, a lot of industry is being sent to states outside Maharashtra, which should have been in Maharashtra. A lot of development that's happening will benefit Gujarat. A lot of things, the fact that Mumbai is the financial capital is under challenge because, Ahmedabad, they'll move all of this to Ahmedabad. Whether it happens, it doesn't happen. The fact of the matter is, they are saying, why should Maharashtra be ruled by Gujarat and Delhi? Now, that is the pitch they're putting. And it's not, whether it works or not, we'll find out very soon. But the fact of the matter is, there is a lot of sub-regional nationalism, pride in Maharashtra as well. Maybe not as much as maybe in West Bengal and the South, but that does exist. So then, this whole business of combined with all this is the fact that the BJP's rhetoric is not being taken very kindly to by both Eknath Shinde and by Ajit Pawar. Now, Ajit Pawar, frankly, I don't know how much he'll eventually matter, but Eknath Shinde has distanced himself very clearly from this kind of. He's not said that it's a bad thing openly, but he has made sure that the signal that goes out from him is that I am not happy with, or at least I don't support this kind of politics, or this kind of rhetoric. So that brings us to the six main players today in the Maharashtra election. First one, of course, is Eknath Shinde. Eknath Shinde was seen as a stopgap CM. He'll come in, he'll take care of it. Then, as BJP normally does, or any big party, especially the BJP does, is to say thank you for your service and please, now you can sit on the sides. But that doesn't appear to be the scene now. It seems now that Shinde is going to be allowed to stay on as CM if they come back to power, for the simple reason that if Shinde's MLAs think that he will not become CM, and if the party and if the alliance does not come back to power, they could very easily shift back to back with Uddhav Thackeray, which will create huge problems of perception and, of course, numbers for the Mahayuti. Now, which means that Shinde is today actually might be in a stronger position than he was when he became CM. Which then brings you to Fadnavis. Devendra Fadnavis has never, I don't think he'll ever forget the fact that he was downgraded from CM to deputy CM. And he's also initially made it very clear that he was unhappy, eventually made his public peace with it at least. But the fact of the matter remains that Devendra Fadnavis today is between a rock and a very hard place. We've said this earlier, in Nagpur, in the Vidarbha area, very senior BJP leaders have said that they wouldn't be surprised if he faces a tough fight in his own seat in Nagpur. That might not be the case today, but maybe 2 weeks ago, that might have been the case. I don't think it's likely that he's going to lose, but they said it's going to be a tough fight. And this is the BJP. This is not somebody else. So Fadnavis find themselves in a very curious position. If they win, will he be CM? And if they lose, what happens to him? Which brings you to the last person in that alliance, which is Ajit Pawar, who clearly is at the end of his career if they lose. Even if they win, there is no guarantee that they will need Ajit Pawar's numbers. At the best he can do is, if they come to power, the Mahayuti, he might draw out some of the other NCP MLAs or leaders onto his side. That is his only value right now. So he actually is the biggest loser of the three as far as the Mahayuti goes. Then you come to the MVA. Now the MVA, the biggest leader, the tallest leader by all standards, is Sharad Pawar. Sharad Pawar is the one who is basically leading this whole camp, because you see, the Congress doesn't have a face. Congress is not even projecting a face. NCP has only one face, which is Sharad Pawar. And the Shiv Sena, UBT, has only one face, which is Uddhav Thackeray. Uddhav Thackeray himself today is also in a like in some ways like Fadnavis is in a curious position. He has sympathy on his side, but that part of that sympathy, let's face it, evaporated after the Lok Sabha elections. I mean, you can't keep using the same sympathy factor for every election. He has sympathy, it's evaporating. His biggest problem is, does he have the feet on the boots on the ground to reach out to every booth, to reach out to voters, get them in to vote? That is his biggest problem right now. That's the problem he's facing. So this could also be very decisive for his political career. The Congress, on the other hand, has no face. They've got local leaders, but there is no big national, well-known, overall state-level person who will be able to say. All of them are either out of contention or they've moved to the BJP. So it doesn't leave them with anybody who can say that I am the preeminent leader like Sharad Pawar in the NCP. They are also fighting this fight in still, I would say, given the fact that you've only got 1 week left, there doesn't seem to be a very strong urge to go out there and say, I need to win this. There is still a factionalism at some level, even though openly they are saying that we are all together. There is still discomfort within the MVA over who's going to support who, where, will there be vote transfer, not vote transfer, so on and so forth. These things are still haunting the Congress. Last comes Sharad Pawar. Sharad Pawar is today easily in the strongest position in this whole small universe of Maharashtra politics. Sharad Pawar today has the political heft to carry through his word, to carry through, to command loyalty and to command votes. So if tomorrow the MVA does come back to power, Sharad Pawar is easily going to be the biggest, absolutely the biggest winner in this election. But it's still tight. We don't know whether Sharad Pawar is going to come back or not. All of this hangs in the balance till the 20th when people go to vote. Will the money that the Mahayuti has promised, which Shinde has given an advance installment already of 7,500 rupees, will that swing the woman vote? It works in Bihar, it works in UP. Will it work in Maharashtra? Does the Maharashtra woman really think that 7,500 rupees is good enough? Does she think that they might stop this once they win? There's already talk about how come you didn't think of Latki Behna, the scheme 2 years ago or 1 year ago. How come I've become Latki Behna? And we've heard this on the ground. How come I've become Latki Behna today, just before the elections? So that skepticism is still there. But money in the pocket is money in the pocket, which eventually brings us back to the point that this continues to be a very, very, very tight election. Now, the last tight election, the most recent tight election we saw was in the US. Everybody said it's going to be tight, and see what happened. Will the same thing happen in Maharashtra one way or another? We don't know yet. But let's keep our eyes and ears open, and we'll keep updating you with more stories as they come in from Maharashtra.